Hi, my name is Charles Smith. I'm the Executive Director of Cultural Pluralism in the Arts Movement Ontario, and we're here at the National Ballet School of Canada to do an interview with Sashar Zarif, who will be performing with us at our 10th anniversary at Acme Studio on May 27th in the evening, and he's also on a panel about contemporary dance on May 28th, that's in the afternoon. Sashar has performed for us in the past, and I have seen Sashar, I can't even remember how many times. It's always a joy, a pleasure, and quite an experience. So can you tell us what you're planning on May 27th as part of your performance that evening?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. I'm honored to be part of this event. On 27th, I will be presenting a solo duet. It's a duet, but it's not a duet, it's a solo. Mm-hmm. And I have been reaching into past from in 2004 when I started actually bringing the dance of Mugam together. That's a style that I do. And I worked with one of my students when I was teaching at York University, and she became one of my main dancers. And she went away to her own journey to Mongolia and to do her archaeology research, and now she's back. And I'm very excited to have her back, and now we're going through the old material to kind of bring them to date. Mm-hmm. And it has been very exciting in the studio for both of us, and we are very excited to present it at your event, especially your audience.
Well, you mentioned solo duet. Can you talk about that a bit? And there's also, you raised the question or the comment, your style coming out of Mugam. If you can talk about that as well. So let's talk about the solo duet first and we'll get to the practice.
There is always, I believe everything, all the humanity has lots in common. And a lot of things are similar, but the way we might end up looking at things might be different. But one of the main things in the cultures in Central Asia that I'm deeply affiliated with is that the body, the instrument, the breath, they all are one. But also you can look at them as three partners. Here we have two of us on stage. She's doing a transformation, and I'm there to support her through that journey. So I can look at this as a journey of one person or a journey of two.
Interesting. Very interesting. And you talk about this Mugam style. Can you tell us a bit about it? I know you travel a lot, as you say, through Central Asia. You seem to be more active there than here, which is, I think, sad for us. Not sad for them, sad for us. And but it seems, the times I've seen you, it seems to derive out of dervish twirling and dance. I may be wrong on that. But can you tell us a bit more about what this engages?
Yes, originally the Sufi and shamanic traditions in Central Asia were using rituals in order to encourage self-development. And in these rituals they used poetry to convey the message in form of metaphors, to communicate the spiritual realm through the metaphors and poetry. And then they brought music in to emotionalize that content, and they brought the movements in dancing to actualize it. Wow. And these three would not exist without each other. And actually, when you look at the vocabulary of Western and Central Asia, there is no specific name for dance or music. And you, traditionally you will say play if you want to say dance, and you will say play if you want to say play football. Right. So this idea of having the right of making your destiny that you have in a play, but also you have that structure that you have to follow, is very much pronounced in the rituals. Over the years, the element of dance or actualizing has been kind of lost or exoticized. And it's very understandable. It's like it's much easier to emotionalize than actually just act on it. I started in 2000 and more actively in 2004 to research and go back to the information that was available and go back to these different places and visit some of the traces of those rituals that still exist, and dig into the poetry and the philosophy and the structure of the music, see how they have changed and what is missing, and brought them back into this movement structure that I call Dance of Mugam, that works with the three faculties of emotion, mind, and body.
Wow, quite amazing, quite amazing. So I guess this is going to be part of then, and the dancer you're working with, her name is?
Natalie King.
Oh, wonderful. And so you've not connected with her for some time then, you say?
Yes, for about 6 years.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, so it's an amazing reconnection then at this point.
It's very, very exciting.
And you mentioned she's gone on her own journey out in Mongolia and other parts?
Yes, she's a wonderful soul. She has done 2 masters in museum studies and archaeology, and she's also a dancer, so a doer. Wow. So she went to Mongolia and she did her projects there, and she is one of those rare people that can connect you through their intuitive self before they bring their mind forward.
Wonderful.
To meet you.
That seems to be the strength of your work. I remember the last time I think I saw you dance was at Dusk Dances. It rained and I stayed through the rain because it was such an experience. But it was the first time I heard you sing and play hand drum. I think it was Mateo Galindo Torres and someone else who was dancing.
It was Luke Garwood and Corrado.
So you'll be using your other faculties in this piece as well? You're singing your poem. I've also seen you at Small World Music, reciting poetry, and I was telling people earlier that you seem to be the complete package in terms of music, dance, poetry, acting, playing an instrument.
I'm trying. When things are established separately, when dance, music, and poetry are so established separately for many years, and they have this sense of ownership. So to claim that I am a musician in this context might be not right, but I am using music. I have studied music through my life, and my first mentor was my grandmother, who had a hand drum, and traditionally every woman in our culture has a hand drum as a dowry, and when they need to tell their inner secrets to someone, they're encouraged to tell it to hand drum by singing to the hand drum. So I grew up with her, and seeing this, I inherited her hand drum, and in the beginning, I started singing and singing the same songs that she sang, and after a while, I got older and realized I need my own songs, and now I'm in Canada, and I need to kind of address me now here, and so that gave birth to using. Or the urge to use my voice while I was dancing. And I think that was one of the reasons that I started Dance of Mugam. That I realized that in the Eastern traditions, like many other traditions, the storyteller, dancer, and musicians are not different people. It's one thing. And it's very, very hard to separate them from each other. As if one human being can only have emotions, or one can only have movements, and one can only have a brain, right?
Sounds like the Wizard of Oz.
Here you go. We have a theme for a film.
So I imagine some of the elements of your practice, because we're in this conversation on the 28th in the afternoon around staging diversity in dance and that kind of thing. And there are other panelists who are contemporary dance, like Nova Bhattacharya, Carmen Romero, etc. You'll be on that panel, Ronald Taylor. So I imagine some of these things will be what you'll talk about at that. I mean, because one of those things I understand of that is looking at the patterns or the practices of dance that fall outside of the Western sphere, if you want to call it that. So will this be something you'll be adding to that conversation?
Yes, I think I will start from there. I also, I don't like to name things. I got this idea, an inspiration from Ben Okri when he said, when you call something, it dies a little. So I try not to name, but to communicate, you need to say something, or to not to be excluded, you need to say something. So when people see my work, and because maybe the music is inspired by Central Asian, or the movements are, or the costumes are, but not exactly that, they still prefer to call it traditional. And I am in this battle in saying in that context of traditional that you're talking about, this is not. Right. And this is actually, I believe, more contemporary than something that it's created to be contemporary, because I think this was organically came about. It was out of necessity. That I needed to find my place here without giving in, and so this is intuitively came about, and I think that is the real meaning of being in time, contemporary, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
By no means I don't want to say I'm doing the contemporary. That came out wrong. But
we'll edit it, don't. Well, Sashar, it's been lovely talking with you, and we're looking forward to having you back. And this is such a wonderful opportunity we have to bring back people who've worked with us in the past to understand where they've journeyed since the last time we were able to present your work, although I've seen you since that time and other things. And to have you both as a performer and then as a panelist, which I think is going to be really dynamic.
Thank you.
So thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you very much. I also want to thank you for having, for giving us the opportunity, especially the independent dance artists, because we are the ones who resist to become an entity, and we want to be who we are and do what we do. And we do need that support that for many years I have seen you offering it to many people.
That's what we do with CPAMO, and we're honored to be able to work with you and others that we do, because for us this is the vision of what is now and what will be tomorrow. So it sits very close in our hearts and in our own lives and our own practices. So thank you very much for your time today, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.